JamTard and SuperBeard Monday Movie Review.
Hello,
Hi, hello.
I'm SuperBeard,
I'm JamTard.
and this is the first in our new series of movie reviews.
Yay.
The first one we did was Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. It starred Neil Patrick Harris from How I Met Your Mother and Harold Kumar films. Right, Dr. Horrible's sidekick is a guy called Moist, who is played by Simon Helberg, who is Wolowitz from The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
And he's not in it much, but he is awfully moist.
He's a very moist man.
Dr. Horrible's nemesis is Captain Hammer.
Captain Hammer, because he's a tool.
Because he's a tool, yes.
Pretty much.
And he's played by Nathan Fillion. Is that how you say it?
Where is it? Oh, there it is. Nathan Fillion.
And he is from...
A lot of things.
He's
I
from
don't know.
a film called White Noise. It wasn't a very good film, to be quite honest with you. And he's in other stuff as well.
One thing I enjoyed about this movie is that it was done like a true YouTuber. It wasn't short of awkward moments when he was talking to the camera.
It wasn't.
He had to endure fan mail, which I thought was quite funny.
Yes.
He was reading out fan mail and there was sarcasm.
All sorts of
All
fan mail.
sorts of trolley messages.
So it did look like he was doing this for YouTube.
Yeah, it's kind of weird actually. Being a musical, it wasn't short of a couple of good songs, I think.
Yes, but I'm not really into the whole musical thing. Yes, he's more it, but I did actually like this.
It was really good actually.
Mainly because it had Neil Patrick Harris in it,
Mainly.
and he's awesome.
He's
Fucking amazing. That's how awesome he is. He makes you shit. We find out that Dr. Horrible is in love with a girl that he sees at the laundromat when he does his laundry.
Yeah, when he does his laundry.
Who is
Felicia Day from the Guild, who I thought was awesome because I love the Guild.
It then goes on to Dr. Horrible trying to get his hands on some
Wonderflonium.
Wonderflonium by basically,
Remote control driving a van, I think it was.
yes, with some giant magnet thing he threw at it. But then his nemesis, Captain Hammer, comes along and ruins the moment.
Tool of the city.
But in the process, saving Penny's life from almost getting killed by the van, and end up going on dates.
Although he didn't actually save her, it was Neil Patrick Harris in goggles.
So that brings us on to the second act, where it starts off with Captain Hammer and Penny on a date in a homeless soup kitchen.
The shoe.
And in the background, which we had to rewind to see, was Dr. Horrible snuck in to feed people the soup so he could watch the dates, because he doesn't trust Captain Hammer.
He doesn't like Captain Hammer. With good authority, I mean, he's a bit of a douche.
What happened next, Jamie?
Dr. Horrible, being fueled by his hatred towards Captain Hammer, decides to prove to Penny that he can be successful. So, he tries to hold up the unveiling of...
The superhero shenanigans.
There's a bridge involved, I don't know.
Superhero bridge.
Superhero bridge unveiling. There you go. But he fails.
Yes.
Pretty badly because he got a car thrown at his head.
By Captain Hammer. Captain Hammer throws a car at his head, yeah.
It seems like Captain Hammer is like just a ginormous douche bully in this film.
Yeah, he basically is.
When in any other sort of perspective he'd be the hero.
He's that kind of guy that at school you really want to hit, but you know that later on in life you're just going to get one up on him anyway.
Yeah. In the bathroom.
You know, the typical underdog story is what this basically is.
In the last act,
Captain Hammer has basically helped Penny get a homeless shelter from a building that the city was going to demolish and turn to a car park. So he ends up getting a statue made for him in honor of his great and wonderful deeds.
Yeah. And Penny's all like, my hero! And Dr. was like, he's a douche. And he's all like, look at my bed.
The night of the unveiling of Captain Hammer's statue of statueness, because of his good deeds to homeless people, which he doesn't like, which is clearly obvious, when they unveil the statue, it is Dr. Horrible! Or, as you like to call him,
Neil Patrick Harrison goggles, because that is essentially what he is.
with his freeze gun, freeze ray.
Freeze Ray. Oh yeah, it's Freeze Ray.
And freezes Captain Hammer in the spot when he's singing about his biceps and
How awesome he is.
his little freak fans are singing songs and
Yeah, his fans are creepy.
stuff.
They steal his hair. So once Dr. Horrible has unveiled himself, he does...
Look at me! Look at my giant freeze ray! Freeze!
Ice.
So,
Ice. Baby.
oh no, don't say that when you jizz.
So once Dr. Horrible has been unveiled, he does the typical evil villain thing and goes into this big song and dance about how he's awesome and evil and stuff. And he brings out his death ray, which is pretty cool and evil.
Yeah, it's red sparks and everything.
Yeah. And it's even got a little duct tape sticker over.
No expense spared.
And he has the gun, ray, whatever you call it, in Captain Hammer's face. But then, what happens?
The freeze ray stops working and Captain Hammer comes back to life and punches him in the face. And he slides along the floor, dropping his death ray of death. Captain Hammer basically points the death ray in Dr. Horrible's face, but it explodes and bits fly everywhere.
He bits the gun. Captain Hammer runs away like a little baby child.
Yes, because he got hurt. He feels pain for the first time ever.
It's funny. Neil Patrick Harris is alright, even though he was in the midst of the explosion. But Felicia Day, who's in the background of this whole thing...
Who's Penny, by the way.
Who's Penny, if you didn't gather. She gets penetrated. I probably shouldn't say that. Penny, who's been in the background this whole time, gets stabbed by 2 different bits of the gun.
In the gut.
Which is very unlucky.
In the gut!
And then there's this big sad speech moment, and she just dies. So in the end, after death has occurred,
Yes, Penny's death.
Neil Patrick Harrison goggles, he gets into the League of Evil.
Evil League of Evil.
Evil. But there's a bittersweet. It's a bittersweet moment because, you know, Penny was probably the last person who went to die.
Yeah.
Very sad. But there you go. Evil's a bitch.
Now for the beard ratings. I give it a 4 out of 5. Beards.
Really?
Yeah, I liked it. It wasn't. I've never seen a film like it, I suppose. It's a sing along, which is not my typical, but it's also filmed in a very odd way. I quite liked it like that.
You like it, I
Plus, it's got Neil Patrick Harrison in it. He's awesome. What do you give it?
I would give it 4.5 beards. I think the only thing that I would have put in that to make it better would have been, I don't know.
In my opinion, it should have been longer.
If it had, yeah, I think one thing would have been if it was a longer film.
If it was a longer film and had more in-depth story to it, I would have given it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
But just because it was short, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, it's more like a one-off TV show than a movie.
Yeah. So next week, we're going to be doing
Dream Girls! Yes! One of my... It's my favourite movie.
It's his favourite movie.
I feel like it is underrated and it's good. It's set in the 1960s. It's awesome. It's got music in it. Black people who I love in every single way.
Join us again next week if you can be bothered. See you. Fucking amazing. That's how awesome he is. He makes you shit.